Hello and welcome to John's Author Diary for the weekend in September the 16th, 2018. I've had a crazy busy week this week. Yesterday I launched The Magician, which is the first full book in my Ravenglass Chronicles epic fantasy novella series. This was a bit of a low-key launch for me because I want this to be an ongoing project that builds and builds. And so I know a lot of the people who've already bought the book have read the first one, which is free, and they've gone on to buy the second, so that's good. And I'm hoping as I continue to release more books over the next couple of years that I'll essentially be having a new launch every month or so. And so I've done this without spending money on advertising, so that's different, but it's a positive as well. I don't think I'll actually start advertising this series until I've got at least 3 books out. At the moment I'm charging 99 pence for the books, and I think there will be a point in the future where I put them up to $2.99. I think I'll keep the first book for free, second book for 99 pence, and then put it up from there. This is because of the way Amazon structures its royalties. So for example, if I sell a copy of my Wasteland series box set, then I will make $4 from that. And that's just one transaction. And so to make the same royalty with these, I need to sell 12 copies. And I've seen that there are some popular serials within my genre that do charge $2.99 per book. So it might be something I'll consider in the future. Maybe keep the latest book in the series at 99 cents just to reward those people who come in early. But that's something to think about. So last weekend, I think it was after I recorded last week's episode, I got the High Priestess back from a couple of my beta readers. Now, one of them has really helped me when it comes to getting the story right. So I went through her suggestions on Monday and Tuesday, and I think it's now at a state where it's ready for a proofread. So as finishing that, I've also started writing The Empress. So this is the next book in the series. I would say I'm about a third of the way through the draft. Now, I think this one is going to be a little bit longer than the last 2 books. But that's fine, I'll give each episode what it needs. Some of them will be longer, some of them will be shorter. I've also been adding to Cleric of the Wasteland, so I've added another couple of chapters to that, and it brings me up to the 20% mark in the draft. So I've mentioned before, this is a project that I'm just going to chip away at, and I think the way I'm going to do it is I'm working on the Ravenglass Chronicles in the mornings, and then after lunch I'll try and do a chapter or 2 on the Cleric of the Wasteland, because this is a series that needs to get wrapped up. I was thinking the other day I saw a thread of people complaining about some certain fantasy authors like George R.R. Martin and Scott Lynch and Patrick Rothfuss who've got a well-loved series and people are dying to read the sequels, but these things take time and sometimes you just don't feel like it. And when you've got something that is well-loved, I can understand why an author wouldn't want to continue the series because, like I didn't write the second book to Blind Gambit, I knew that the story wasn't quite there. And so if you have pride in your work and you want to put out a good product, I can empathise with that. And so it got me thinking, it's been a while since I released my last Wasteland book. And I thought, actually, it's only 10 months and on a traditional release cycle, that's nothing. So I'm going to chip away at that. I've got no set schedule for this one, but I'm really pleased with how it's coming together so far. Because I do really enjoy the world. I really enjoy the Wasteland world that I've come up with. And there's a lot of stories that I want to tell in that world. So watch this space. On my other podcasts, I interviewed Ewan Lawson earlier this week. Now this is for the Stop Booking Around podcast and we've never had a guest on before, but I really wanted to talk to someone about health for authors, and so who better to talk to than the guy who co-wrote The Healthy Writer with Joanna Penn. And so I think as a semi-regular thing now I'm going to have guests on the show just to talk about different subjects. I've got an author in mind to talk about time management. I've got an author in mind to talk about writing disabled characters, writing about fight scenes, that kind of thing. So I think that'll be a nice addition to the show anyway. I've started reading Lord of the Rings. Now this is one of those books that got me into fantasy when I was about 11 and I've never read it since. And I haven't read the rest of the trilogy, so I've only read the first book when I was 11, which I think is probably really bad for a fantasy author. So I'm making an effort over the next couple of months, I think, to read some classics in the genre that I may have overlooked, because most of my reading tends to be more modern titles. So I've had no questions this week, but if you have a question, please do email me. It's john@johncronshaw.com. You can also tweet me. It's @JLCronshaw. If you haven't done so already, please do check out The Fool. This is the first book in my Ravenglass Chronicles series. So if you like coming-of-age epic fantasy with talking dragons and magic swords, and there'll be all sorts of crazy stuff going on in this one, check it out. Go to tinyurl.com/Ravenglass. And so until next time, cheerio.